Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 23 MyTeam career mode. This is part 25 of the series. If you did miss the last episode, it was a first career win for Oscar Piastri. So very cool to see a Australian up there on the top step, and it was another podium for ourselves as well. So we are definitely starting to hit a very good patch this season as well. So now, as we take a look at the performance charts, McLaren are continuing to make more progress, but it is Mercedes making massive gains as well. And then for ourselves, we've made big gains as well, closing that gap to Haas in the R&D as well. So hopefully we can continue our run of points that we've been on, which included 2 second places in a row. So hoping we can make it 3 in a row on the podium, but that will be pretty tough work for us, I reckon, this weekend, as we now head straight into practice. So this is going to be the race strategy program. As you can see there, we've actually taken a little bit longer to get into the groove of things, taking the first 2 laps to get up to the pace, and then on the 5th and final lap of the program managed to set the 3 laps in a row to get it to the purple. So eventually we got to the pace, but definitely took longer than expecting. And now going on to our next practice program here. It's the tyre wear program. So as you can see that, through the middle section of the track, we were very good on our tyre wear, but definitely lost some going through that very technical final sector. So now, as we're going to have to do another flying lap here to try and get a purple in this one, really not so much backed it off, but just was a bit more careful with my steering inputs and throttle applications to make sure that the tyre wear wasn't hurting too much going through that final sector. So at the moment sitting P10, only doing runs on the medium tyres. It's now going into our final practice program of this practice session. It's going to be the qualifying pace, and as you can see there, it is quite horrendous in the end. We're about 0.8 of a second. You can see we're losing so much time on the straights, and with that massive back straight, that's definitely not giving me too much hope going into qualifying and also into the race. And now, this is on our cooldown lap actually. I was just having a look behind us to check for to check if there was any traffic coming, and I noticed a bit of smoke coming out, and it looks like that something in the engine is beginning to let go. There is a lot of smoke coming out of the engine, so unfortunately we're going to have to rectify that. The top 3 in the practice session was Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, making a McLaren 1-2 in the session. They're only separated by 6/10 of a second, sorry, 600ths of a second. George Russell in P3, then ourselves P4 on the soft tyre, 0.3 of a second off Lando Norris, and Alex Albon in P9 as well on the soft tyre as well. So definitely giving me some hope going into qualifying that maybe, just maybe, both of our cars could maybe make it into the top 10 and get both cars into Q3 for the first time. As I don't think even in the first season, both cars have never been in the Q3, so definitely aiming to make that a reality this weekend, as now onto the end of our first flying lap in Q1. We're going to hit the DRS, and we've set 2 green sectors at the moment. Whereabouts can we find ourselves in the grid? And it's going to be P2, a 10.5 off Oscar Piastri. And now we're going to be playing a little bit of DRS games here. This is going to be on the end of our cooldown lap, getting ready to start our next lap. I don't want the Mercedes there of Lewis Hamilton to be right behind me. I reckon he's going to be one of the people that we're going to be battling. But then he bolts, and then I was like, okay, we'll sit behind Sergio Perez. But then he comes to a near stop as well. So very awkwardly, that's kind of ruined everything going on to this next lap. But as we go through the final corner, it is a purple first sector, green second sector. We've kind of kept touch with Lewis and then kept Sergio at bay, and it is a fastest lap for us. So in the end, for Q1, it's going to be Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, the top 3, then ourselves in P6, and then in P13 there you'll find Alex Albon. He's just over a second off the pace, but hopefully when it comes to Q2 he can kind of narrow that gap down a little bit, as the top 10 was literally only less than a 10th away for him. So as we now find ourselves in Q2, we ran a little bit wide at the final corner there, a little bit of mid-corner oversteer, understeer in the end there, but that lap there is going to put us in P8, so definitely have to improve it though. We were on some worn tyres, the same set of tyres that we used in Q1, and now we're going through the last corner there. It was a bit more grip than I was expecting, so I turned it in where I usually do on worn tyres, and I just clobbered that inside curb, but that lap there was good enough for P6, and Alex Albon P5 there, I just realised. So excellent stuff there. Now going through into this final sector, there's yellow flags in front of us as the AI get ready for their final flying laps, and they're going to be looking to get themselves some good track space. So hopefully they don't interfere with us at all. So far it's 2 red sectors, but I'm hoping that using a little bit of slipstream, maybe off this Red Bull that's in front of us, we managed to gain a little enough time. And I was actually so fixated on making up that time that I was watching the Red Bull and didn't realise I'd slightly cut that corner. So we got a little bit of a warning though, but they haven't invalidated our lap time. So where will this lap put us? It will put us P3 and Alex Albon P2. So this is looking very promising for us Brabham cars, as now we actually managed to go on for another lap. Our ERS is running quite low. It's a purple first sector, green second sector. So are we going to be able to hopefully secure ourselves a Q3 spot? And I reckon we do. Looking at the results here, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez and George Russell are your top 3, and then look at that, both Brabhams have made it into Q3, so ourselves P6, 3.5 tenths off the pace, and Alex Albon 4 tenths off the pace, so very tight between us two. So definitely exactly what I've been wanting Alex to do, to try and get back onto our pace. And hopefully try and bring home some extra points for the team. And now going into Q3, this is the first flying lap here. This will be on old tyres, if memory serves me right. So we're going to have to see here how the lap time goes. P2 actually, so I reckon I'm just trying to rejig my memory about what set of tyres I was using there, but it must have been some fresh set of tyres there if I managed to get a P2. As we now leave the final corner, we're going down to the straight. Surely this will be a pole position. We're half a second up on our best lap time, and it is pole position for the French Grand Prix. So there it is. So I'll be joined on the front row of the grid with Lewis Hamilton. Alex Albon managed to get himself P9. He's 1.1 seconds off the pace, but I managed to also get pole by half a second. So we absolutely dominated that final qualifying session there. Sergio Perez in P3 to round out the top 3 in qualifying.
Welcome along then to France, one of the great racing meccas, host of the world-famous Tour de France, and widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing in the late 1800s. How far we've come since then, as this year's race gets underway. It's time, of course, for the French Grand Prix. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. The Rainmaster lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Russell, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Leclerc, Albon, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Ocon, Norris, Bottas, Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Magnussen, Joe, Iwasa, Sargent, Gasly, and Nick de Vries. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Natalie Pinkham. Thanks for joining us, Natalie. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So, with the cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
And here we are for this race. We're not going to be doing anything too out there strategy-wise. We're going to stick with the medium to the hard tyre. Definitely, I want to be finishing the race on the hard tyre. Hopefully, that this strategy plan won't get hindered too much with any possible safety cars. So, hopefully, all is going to be plain and simple for the race, as now we come to the end of our formation lap, and we're going to be trying to go for purple. But no, the first time this season, it's a green start, and I'm nearly a meter off where I need to be. So definitely put ourselves onto the back foot, but hopefully we can still get a all right start, as now we go to the start of the Grand Prix, and it's a pretty good start for ourselves. But there's Lewis Hamilton. He's actually managed to get himself in front of us going through turn 1. So we have to sit by in second place, and looking behind us, it is actually Sergio Perez who's managed to maintain P3, but also it's currently looking like it's going to be 2x2 going into turns 4 and 5, so plenty of battling going on further down the pack, but it's also giving us a bit of a buffer between the top 5, so this battling ore is definitely just going to be slowing down the rest of the pack. And now going back to our POV, we're under attack now from Sergio Perez, so this straight line is already hurting us into the race, but we're going to sweep around the outside going to turn A to try and defend from Sergio Perez. So definitely want to be trying staying with Lewis Hamilton. I reckon battling for the lead's definitely not going to be the way to go at the moment. As now we'll take a further look back into the back, and that was Max Verstappen finishing a move into P6. And now this is our teammate Alex Albon. He's fallen down the pack a little bit, but he's now moving his way back through the field, getting himself back into P9. And that's Lando Norris making a very opportunistic move there. So one thing I did forget to mention was both McLarens not making it into Q3. So that was a big storyline that I just realized I've completely missed doing the qualifying review. And so you'll notice there on the totem pole there, Lando Norris P10, Oscar Piastri P13. So definitely the team leading the constructors in the fastest car have definitely put themselves on the back foot. So they'll be needing to do mega drives to try and do any sort of damage limitation this round. And so now this is Lando Norris making a very easy move around the outside of our teammate Alex Albon, going into turn 8, which gave him the inside for turn 9. And we're now going to be doing a bit of an order check here. So it's Lewis Hamilton, myself, and then George Russell is your top 3. We've kind of broken away just a little bit from Sergio Perez in P4, Nico Hulkenberg, then it's Max Verstappen, then the 2 Ferraris are Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc P7, P8. And then Lando Norris finds himself already up into P9. And then it's our teammate in the final points paying position at the moment in P10, although he is under attack from Oscar Piastri. So could Oscar Piastri be making the move around the outside? He will actually get the move done before they even make it to the corner. So that puts Oscar Piastri into the points now as Stroll and Ocon are battling it out. Is Ocon going to be able to make the move on Stroll? They're going to have to probably work it out as they get to turn 10, the flat-out sweeper, but a Stroll that stays ahead of Ocon. Then it's Tsunoda right up behind him, then it's Magnussen, Iwasa, Bottas in the Sauber, then it's Gasly, Zhou, Lawson, Sargent, and then Nick De Vries rounds out the field. He's trying to chase down Logan Sargent in that Williams. And now back to our POV here. We're going to be under attack here from George Russell. So we're going to be trying to make sure he doesn't get too far up the road from us. But our straight line speed, once it's kind of been maxed out, actually doesn't seem to be too bad against the other AI. So we're going to be able to defend this from George Russell just for now. But we're actually going to get a bit of a wheel spin on the exit. So that hasn't actually hindered us too much in defending that position. As Lando Norris now makes an overtake on Charles Leclerc, and this will be putting Lando into P8. If he can make the move stick, he's going to have to go around the outside at turn 9. But with the overall pace of that McLaren, I reckon he's going to probably make that move look very easy. But the straight line speed of that Ferrari is making it very difficult for Lando to be making this overtake stick. As now, going through turn 10, they're going to remain side by side. But Charles Leclerc surely on the inside going through turns 11. He should be able to keep the move, and he does. So for the moment, Charles Leclerc is being able to defend from Lando Norris, but for ourselves now, we've got DRS on Lewis Hamilton. We've got a little bit of buffer space from George Russell, so surely we can make the move stick here. As now down in the bottom corner, you can see there, that is the Aston Martin of Nico Hulkenberg making an overtake, and also one of the McLarens making an overtake as well. For us, we didn't manage to get the move done going into turn 8 or turn 9, but our straight line speed in the slipstream of that Mercedes was enough for us to get up the inside at turn 9. So hopefully we can try and stay in this P1 for now and kind of control the pace of the race, because I've been pushing for all of my life to try and make sure that we can try and stay within touching distance of Lewis Hamilton. But now both Mercedes are going to be getting past us almost immediately. So now we're going to be doing a very cheeky cutback. We actually used a lot more curb than I was expecting, but Lewis Hamilton's going to box us in now. So I was trying to hope to get both of them, but in the end, Lewis have very carefully defended that, so then we couldn't get the overtake on him done as well. So good defensive driving there from Lewis Hamilton. And while wheel battling, this is Sergio Perez making the move on the Aston Martin, going around the outside of Nico Hulkenberg. So very good move there, using the powers of DRS from Sergio to get himself up into P4. And now this is Oscar Piastri. He's making a very, what should be a pretty easy overtake on Charles Leclerc, but it looks like Leclerc's going to be trying to do what he did to Lando Norris and make this a little bit harder for the McLarens, as now Oscar has to go side by side with Charles Leclerc. But surely he should be able to get the move done going through turn 10. Is he going to be able to squeeze out Charles Leclerc? Yes, he can. And so the move is done there for Oscar Piastri. And for ourselves now, there's a yellow flag behind us, and our pit window has opened. So if a safety car does come out, this is going to be perfect timing for us, as this is going to be our optimal pit window anyway. So now, as Mark confirms with us that we will be boxing this lap, we're going to be trying to use this back straight here full of DRS, and hopefully we can actually also either get the move done on Lewis or really close up that gap and try and get some sort of move done on him through the pit stop phases there. It's confirmed Charles Leclerc's out of the race, so very unfortunate for him. He was dropping through the field a little bit, and there's no smoke coming out the back, so maybe some sort of gearbox failure or something like that for Charles Leclerc. So now it's Nico Hulkenberg gets himself back past Sergio Perez. So these two have been battling it out for quite a while, and now this is a Stroll going around the outside of one of the Alpines, going into turn 8, turn 9. So lots of battling with the AI at the moment. But I don't think the Alpine's going to be making it that easy for him, as now they go side by side coming up the hill into turn 10. And then who's that? There is another car. I reckon that's Yuki Tsunoda there, tucked up right behind him as well. Probably going to be trying to take advantage of this as well. And he does. So that is Yuki Tsunoda going up the inside of the Alpine as well. So the Alpine, they're losing 2 positions within a matter of a few corners. As now for us, we're in the pit lane now behind Lewis Hamilton. So didn't get as close as I really wanted to on this final lap. But George Russell, he'll now inherit the lead of the race, as Mercedes don't want to risk any sort of double stacks with their 2 drivers. So now for us, it's actually quite a long pit lane journey for us, and now we're going to be trying to get an optimal turn in. Optimal turn in is completed, and now hopefully it's going to be a swift stop from the boys and girls in the pit lane, but no, it's a slow pit stop on the tyres. So we've now lost so much time on Lewis Hamilton, so this has just made this race a little bit more harder for us to try and get the win on. I do reckon we've probably got the pace to try and get a win, hopefully. As now this is Lando Norris. He's also made a pit stop, so he's fallen through the field, but he's now making a move on Lewis Hamilton. So now could this be for an effective race lead? If it is, Lando Norris has made an absolute blinder of a pit stop call then, because I reckon if he has made a pit stop, he's made up a lot of time. But now thinking about it, I don't think he has made a pit stop yet. He's still on those medium tyres, and he's not too far away from the others who have not come into the pits yet. And now, looking ahead, we have just passed a few cars now to get ourselves into P8. Oscar Piastri set our fastest lap on the race, 1:32.2, and now for us, we've caught up to George Russell going along this back straight. And could this be another overtake for us going around the outside? We're going to give him a pinch right on the apex to try and make sure that he doesn't try and keep his nose in there. And now this is on board Max Verstappen. So in front of us, that looks like one of the McLarens trying to get past a Haas there. And so now could Max Verstappen make a very opportunistic move here? He's going to go around the outside, very late move indeed, for him to make that move stick. He's going to have to go side by side, but that straight line speed of the Red Bull is going to leave Liam Lawson in the dust. And for ourselves, we've now just set the fastest lap of the race of 31.4. So absolutely obliterated the last fastest lap. And now this is also, Lando Norris, sorry, trying to make an overtake there going into turn 8, and for us, we've missed our braking point and we had to take evasive action on Lewis Hamilton, but we're actually going to try and be very opportunistic here, and we've got the exit on Lewis, so I don't think at any point there we had all four wheels off the circuit, so I'm going to take that, and definitely no warnings were given by the FIA on that move, so we're going to take it, and then if anything happens, we'll have to obviously give the position back. But now, everyone here is held up by Kevin Magnussen. So we've made the move on Norris. We tried to make the move on Pierre Gasly, but it kind of turned in on us, and so we made a little bit of contact, which gave us a clear path through in the end. But we've also made the move on Gasly as well. So now we're in front of Hamilton, crucially. So he was the person we were battling with for this race win. Kevin Magnussen peels into the pit lane. Ocon is also in the pit lane. So as we now come down this main straight, we should have the fastest lap of the race on these fresh set of hard tyres, and we've already got over a second to Pierre Gasly in P2. So we've now well and truly got control of this race. And so now Lando Norris sits P2 as he's now got past Pierre Gasly as well. Now Nico Hülkenberg is battling with Sergio Perez. So this battle is continuing to phase on as now this is Carlos Sainz, the lone surviving Ferrari, making a move on the Haas of Liam Lawson. And now, looking at Lewis Hamilton, he's going to be trying to get past Pierre Gasly as well. Gasly not yet made a pit stop. And now they're going 3 wide down the straight. George Russell, Oscar Piastri, and Pierre Gasly. As George Russell now has himself at the inside line for turn 9, but can that superior speed of the McLaren to get Oscar Piastri up into P4. They're going to continue going side by side. George Russell has actually got the nose in front, and it is George Russell who's going to keep the position for now. But now going onto the DRS straight, the two Mercedes are going to now be battling it out. They're going to go side by side through turn 8 and turn 9. And can Lewis Hamilton keep the position from his teammate, or will this open up the door for Oscar Piastri to get himself a bit of a look here at the podium positions? And at the moment they're still going to go side by side, but surely George Russell's got this position set, and he looks like he does. Oscar Piastri though is now swung himself to the inside line for turn 11, and that is going to get the overtake done for Oscar Piastri to find himself up now into P4 now. Only one car to go for him to get onto the podium. This is Stroll now getting past the Sauber of Valtteri Bottas, and he's going to go around the outside at turn 1, the inside of turn 2, and that's an overtake done for him to get himself into the points. And now this is George Russell. He's under attack from Oscar Piastri, and surely he's going to lose out more than the one position here, as everyone was so close behind him as the DRS got open. And it looks like Lewis Hamilton was very keen to make a move onto Oscar Piastri as well, but didn't want to make it 3 wide going into turn 8. So Oscar Piastri is going to get that move done pretty easily in the end to make it a double McLaren podium at the moment, considering they both started outside the top 10. So I reckon with 7 laps to go, both McLarens are going to be staying out to the end of the race. So that was, in the end, a massive undercut there from Lando Norris to gain, essentially, from P8 at the time, I think it was, to already on the podium. As now George Russell got held up a little bit there going through turns 1 and 2, and I actually reckon he must have a bit of a problem there, because now he's losing out to Nico Hülkenberg as well. So I wonder if this Mercedes has got a bit of a car issue at the moment and is making them quite slow, because in a matter of a couple of corners he's lost a position to Max Verstappen and Nico Hülkenberg, and Sergio Perez is right there as well to pick up some pieces. But going through the DRS, would George Russell be looking to try and defend from Sergio Perez, or is he going to be trying to get any sort of position back? But it's Lewis Hamilton now getting back past Oscar Piastri. So Piastri hasn't been able to extend the gap in, very far. And Nico Hülkenberg's now overtaking Max Verstappen. So the Red Bulls don't look very good at the moment now. That's Sergio Perez making the move on George Russell as Russell falls further down the top 10. But Oscar Piastri is making a very bold statement there by saying that he's the faster car by getting back past Lewis Hamilton literally the lap later. So back to a 2 McLaren podium there, as now we go back to ourselves. We are starting the final lap of the race, and considering it is the final lap of the race, the battles are not done yet. That is the Mercedes there. I reckon that's George Russell. He's defending from Sergio Perez, but now this is now Perez under attack from Carlos Sainz. Sorry, it's actually Max Verstappen, so I wasn't expecting that. I thought, it would have been Perez. So that was Max Verstappen. He's lost a couple of positions there, actually, on the final lap of the race. But for ourselves, we're going to come through, and we're going to win the French Grand Prix. So that is going to be our second win of the season. And so now, after this run of form, I reckon a championship charge is on here. We were sitting third in the standings, and now we're well and truly on the charge.
French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, confidence breeds confidence. Success breeds success. They are very much enjoying a purple patch right now.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula 1.
And what a French Grand Prix that was for ourselves. That was our 3rd career win in Formula 1. It was plenty of battles galore, really, with the AI going down that back straight, and also it wasn't just down the back straight. Pretty much they were overtaking anywhere around this circuit, so very cool to see from the AI. It was a very strong recovery as well from the McLarens, just showcasing why they're the fastest car as they get both cars from outside the top 10 onto the podium. And so now the rest of the top 10 is Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hulkenberg, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, and Stroll rounds out the points. Unfortunately for our teammate, he wasn't quite able to stay within the points, finishing P12. As now we take a look at the championship, so it's Lando Norris who leads the drivers by 36 points over ourselves, so we now find ourselves P2, so very much a championship charge is on for us if we can maintain this run of form. McLaren leads the constructors by 81 points over Mercedes, and Brabham, we find ourselves in P4, and we are actually now ahead of Red Bull, so we are ahead of the Works team. So now, as we're back in the HQ, we're going to be doing a quality control upgrade for the chassis. So I was tempted to go for like a build time or something, but realized that we really just need to make sure everything is going to get done straight up. And then also, as you just saw there, a powertrain upgrade for the exhaust. So now, that is going to be all for this episode at the French Grand Prix. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode at the Hungarian Grand Prix.